I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let minutes show that all the board members are present. A verification of notice.
The meeting was properly noticed.
Okay, any public comment on items not on the agenda?
My name's
Come up to
Don
the microphone, state your name and address, and
My name is Don Graff. I live at W8880 US Highway 18, which is right across the road from this proposed Oakwood Hills subdivision that I just heard about last week. But it seems the board already voted for rezoning on the July 20th meeting. I'd like to know why myself and many of the other residents haven't heard about this.
isn't anything we can really comment on a public comment. That's not an item on the agenda to work on.
I understand.
You understand too that our zoning recommendation is a recommendation to the county. We don't do our own zoning.
Yes, and the petition by about 45 residents went to the county against this. I just asked that reconsider that vote recommending this rezoning.
Okay. Thank you.
You want any of my reasons?
If you want to state them, you got 3 minutes.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to answer these questions I have right now. Where's the water coming from for this? I mean, we're talking, how many buildings, how many residences? I've heard numbers from 100 to 300. Is there any way we can find out a little more information? This is on lake management property? I thought nothing was supposed to be built on lake management property. Isn't that true?
That's not on lake management property.
I believe it is when I look at the drawings.
It's in the urban service area, but it's not lake management property.
Doesn't lake management border up to 18 and A?
No.
Well, then that map was changed from the one I saw.
The Lake Management District owns 207 acres.
Mm-hmm. And this is not part of it. Okay. I mean, everybody talked about traffic and crime and whatever that comes with all these people. School district, the sewage, I guess there's sewer that comes up to the property. But I'm a little worried about water. I mean, we've been in a drought already. Is this water coming out of the ground? Where's it coming from?
Okay, thank you. You?
I'd like to second Don's motion on this recall.
Name and
Kevin
address, please.
Macheski, N4425 County Road A. I do feel that it is in the Lake District. And according to the mapping that I received back last spring, I received a 100-page document. And then there was the 100-page document that put forth the 15-year growth plan, which overlaid documentation showing that they were able to rezone this property as 15-year growth, which allowed for this, what a conditional use permit, so they can just move forward with whatever the condition is. And I think there's going to be a really large impact, not only on the wetland, but the roads that we have here. Many of the residents, there was a petition that was sent forth with the hearing this last Thursday. And I think that petition needs to be looked at. Many of the residents are not happy with this. They were not notified. There were very few notices that went out to the residents of Oakland. So I think with COVID being a major issue in the past and continuing, I think the town needs to reconsider informing the entire town of Oakland on the proposition of this development. I don't think, many of the people are not made aware. You folks are paid by the taxpayers. It's your duty to inform something of this magnitude. It's your job. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else on issue not on the agenda? Okay, we'll move on. Approval of the minutes from the August 3rd and August 17th meeting. We take the August 3rd meeting first.
I would move acceptance of the August 3rd meeting minutes as printed.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes from the August 3rd meeting, special town board meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And now the approval of the minutes for the August 17th town board meeting.
I'll make a motion, we approve the minutes as written for the August 17th town board meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the minutes from the August 17th town board meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Police chief's report.
Good evening, everybody. Good to see you all. Good to see the chairman's up and running around doing the 440 again.
Not running.
Somebody else I saw running down Ripley Road then. No. Overall, things are interesting in the town. Some anonymous complaints, people called in about issues with an individual down somewhere around the high school, looking into cars, walking around, hooded sweatshirt, suspicious activity. I came across it. I monitor a Facebook page, much to my despise, but I monitor it to see what goes on, with the community. And there was some posting on it, so I responded back telling if you see something, if it doesn't look right to you, call law enforcement immediately. Don't wait an hour, don't wait till tomorrow, because it doesn't do us any good. That's a wasted phone call. So I put that out there for the Facebook folks. If you see something that don't look right, call us. We haven't had any reports of theft or anything, but I am concerned about it. There was another individual that was reported. He turned out to be harmless. He's playing, was it Pokemon Go or whatever the game is, and I don't understand it because I'm just not a techie guy. That one turned out to be okay. But the first one, mostly it's early mornings and early evenings when this person's been seen. So to the residents around the high school area and into the village of Cambridge, if they're watching or listening tonight, keep your eyes open, just check your neighborhood, watch what's going on, close your doors. If you've got your car in the garage, close the garage door. Take your garage door openers and your keys out of your cars and bring them in the house, please. Because daytime burglaries are the biggest thing that we have problems with. The nighttime burglaries do happen, but it's the daytime because the bad guys know most of us work 7 to 3, okay, daytime hours. So take a little preventive medicine and, let's protect our community here.
Chief, do you have a physical description? Because there's been a guy that's
been around that area with a vest, a hat, kind of like a badge thing hanging off from it?
That's
that what-
is he wearing a backpack?
Yes,
That's the Pokemon guy.
okay.
So that one, and I only know it because of the backpack. The other one, description is male white, mid-20s, unknown facial hair, not much else to go on. Blue jeans, very casual looking, but something to be aware of. I wish we could get a better description. I'm hoping somebody else sees the individual. You can either give us a call here, Jefferson County Sheriff's Department, or Village of Cambridge PD, which would be Dane County Sheriff, because it could be on either side of the county line is where it's sitting right now. So something to kind of be aware of out there. Other than that, traffic flow has been fairly good. We haven't had any issues with the ATV since the passing of the ordinance, so I'm happy about that. Chief Plakey down in Jefferson, apparently they're talking about it down there, and he wanted a copy of our ordinance and anybody else that's allowing the ATVs on the roads and how many accidents we've responded to and all this. And I don't have much to give because we have nothing. It's pretty much what I kind of predicted, that it was going to be a really non-issue. But, again, knock wood. We'll see how this goes as the winter gets here. And that boats are out of the water. They're going to be winterized here sometime this week and get put away. So we're done with the water patrol as far as the boats being out. I'll be taping off and covering up the money box at the end of the month because we got the pier out there and still you have to have a permit to launch, but I'll take care of that at the end of the month as it rolls in here, which is not that far away overall. And other than that, ran range for the guys today on our bailout drills. I was very pleased with what I saw. All the training is, they all understood what to do. I didn't have to yell at anybody and say, no, that's not how I taught you to do it. So I was happy about that, because skills do get rusty. So I'm a little beat from that, so I look like I'm going to fall asleep standing here. I've been at it since 4 o'clock this morning. So, but other than that, that's about what I got as far as what's going on in the grand world of things. I did talk to our boat officer via a text that was our seasonal. He's back in school. Sergeant Warner and I discussed keeping him on staff, and if he's interested in coming back next spring, or as we get ready for the boating season again, I would certainly, just continue him out on the boat. I'm still looking to hire for next spring one more person so I can get Sergeant Warner off the water. With the loss of Officer Brazzoni, he still has not been medically cleared, so we didn't see him all summer, and that really threw the new officer into the lion's den in the fire real quick. But he picked up pretty quick, so I was real proud of how well he worked out there. Received a couple good compliments from him, and the obligatory one person we ruined their summer. Yeah, well, welcome to the real world.
You think Brazzoni's going to be back in the spring?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he'll be back.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all I got.
Before you leave, we got, next item is discussion and possible action to appoint Randy Burns.
Yes, Randy Burns. Randy Burns approached me. He knew I was looking to fill a vacancy. Randy works full-time for the City of Waterloo PD. He is a graduate in 2011 with the Criminal Justice Program at MATC in Madison. His background check was done by Captain Tullum. Came out very good. Hard worker, likes working traffic division up there, does a lot of that kind of stuff. He's done escorts, pretty much an all-around. He also knows boating, so if we need to throw him out, I can put him out on a boat. He doesn't know much about personal watercraft, but we can change that. Overall, I sat down, had an interview with him. He definitely wants to come work for us, so I gave him a tentative offer. He's had his drug test and physical. Those came back just yesterday. He's good to go. I just hoping for an approval on him. He couldn't be here tonight because his shift was 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. in Waterloo today. So I apologize for not being here, but I will try to get him to a board meeting if approved so you can put a face to a name.
Well, I'd make a motion that we approve the action to appoint Randy Burns to patrol officer.
I'll second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the appointment of Randy Burns as a patrol officer. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you much.
Thanks, Bruce.
Road Supervisors report.
Our contracted projects are wrapping up, just doing a few finishing touches on our own. mowing, ditch mowing for the last time of the year is over halfway done. That's going pretty quick because of the lack of rain from the second time we mowed, so very many weeds out there, but trees never stop.
Oh,
So, still waiting on getting some product to do finish up some of the projects that I had scheduled to do. With this COVID, tell you, I'm so sick of hearing about COVID. It's unbelievable. You call somebody up, you order a product. Well, we got it coming in, but since you don't order a lot, we're gonna give it to our big supplier, you know, the ones that demand it, so you sit on the waiting list. So you do what you gotta do. So we're just sitting, wait right now to get it.
can you hook up with Christiana or Lake Mills or a neighboring town on some of that stuff?
The product I'm after is that mastic that we used last
Oh.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah. First I couldn't get it, then it was available, then it wasn't available. The track sealing material, that was hit and miss. I do have some on hand. You don't go through that as much when you do that project, just because it's so time consuming and it doesn't take a lot when you fill cracks. There's a few cracks on this end of Ripley that I want to get filled before winter. They're the only cracks I've seen on that stretch is, I want to say from Poplar up to just like a handful of cracks I want to get filled up before winter.
you got the shouldering done on the paving projects?
Yes, yes. Put recycled blacktop on the narrow roads in hopes to pack that down and give a little extra support for when cars meet each other or the big trucks meet each other, you know, garbage trucks. That held up pretty good on this rain, which came down pretty hard.
Yeah.
I was expected to see a mess, but was hoping that it wasn't, and it wasn't. Looked good.
Well, that stuff shouldn't wash near as much as plain stone will.
Right, you're correct. I was also a little worried from that first project when we did Wolf, and then we ended up doing a drainage, so when I drove down the rest of Wolf and Beach, I was really happy to see that none of the shoulder moved, so
Good.
it should be a good spot.
Nice to have that done, huh?
Oh gosh, all summer. Then people living on the road have some good patience, I guess, the dust and the bumps and, yeah.
Well,
They're
Payne and
coming.
Dolan ran into health problems. They lost 5 people. That's
Yeah.
one of the reasons ours was so late. And
Yeah.
Lake Mills has a pretty big project there. They haven't even started on that yet, and I'd be a little concerned. It's gonna get late for laying asphalt.
Yeah, and even just a binder mat down over winter, you know, and then I wouldn't want that because you got a dirty surface. You're never gonna get that clean
Yeah,
in the spring to make that bond between the two layers. I don't like seeing it happen, but at least we're not in that predicament.
yeah, I was glad to see it get done.
Jeff, do you want to bring this up?
Oh, yes. Yes. I didn't know if you wanted to bring it up since
I'll let you do it. You did most of the work.
we did get approval from the DNR for that little walking path from Forested to the Lake Points Pier. I filed it Monday and she okayed it within an hour, so I was expecting worse, but
On the east side of the road?
Yeah.
yes, yes. 555 feet will affect the wetland area,
Yeah.
but it's less than 3,000 square feet, so that fell underneath a different criteria. Does that sound familiar at all?
It does, and I had some conversation with Ted about it, you know, when I found out that it was
Mhm.
affecting the wetland, because we didn't know that in our last meeting and when we voted on it. So,
Okay.
of course, I brought those concerns up and,
Right.
you know, what needs to be done to have that looked at. And
Yep.
the permitting process evidently was the correct way to go.
Yep.
Somebody looked at it and it got approved, so
Yep.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yep,
You gotta
she
take some trees out too, don't you?
just some
Scrub stuff.
some scrub, nothing.
Yeah.
They're leaning into the road anyway, so they're gonna have to be trimmed back.
Yeah.
All in all, the biggest problem is gonna be they have utilities underneath that, but all we're doing is pretty much putting a wide shoulder on there and a
Yeah.
white line. And one of her concerns was to make sure there was no parking along there, that they weren't parking on it. I said, no. And then we established no parking
Right.
years ago, and we're not gonna change that.
You gonna get that done this fall yet?
We'll see how everything pans out. That would be the goal. As long as it stays dry, we're not gonna be
Yeah,
working in.
dry, it would be a nice time to
Yeah.
do it, I suppose, when there's water in there.
And then have something for, in the spring for people to already start walking.
Is it crushed pavement, or what are you putting on it?
Same as what we've done, what Jeff has put on Lakeview and Beach. If you come on up our house, that exact same material.
It's
gonna-
crushed, it's crushed blacktop,
Yeah,
It's-
oversized rock. So, it'll have the slope as the road, so it's only a 4% slope. It's only gonna be 4 feet wide. The fifth foot is for anything that settles off to the side, so we're only adding 3 feet to our 2-foot shoulder, so.
Do you have to do any erosion control, netting or anything when you're doing the project?
I gotta contact, Army Corps of Engineers, but she said no. She's looked at the lay of the land, and she said that would be fine.
I would check into that, because usually in a construction project, we'd have to put the erosion
Right.
control up to keep anything running into the wetlands, and that'd be a question I would have.
Yep.
right?
Right.
okay. Questions for Jeff? Okay, thanks, Jeff.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, clerk treasurer's report.
I would like to introduce Danielle Wilkin. She is the deputy clerk treasurer. Between Danny and I, we've gone to several trainings the last month or so, and one of the things that we would like updated for the town is a public records request that is written, and that we identified the charges that would be associated with that public records request. According to state statute, we can charge for not only the copying, but for the time, the staff time. And so we would like to finalize that into a document that we could have out for people to use in case they wanted to request records. I prepared and gave all of you a year-to-date financial statement. It compares last year's budget, this year's the 2020 actual, the 2021 budget, and the 2021 expenses year-to-date. And I did that in preparation for the budget, which will come out at the next meeting in October, or the draft budget. I'm still working on getting the numbers for that. Many organizations have warned the office that there will be increases for the 2022 season, so we'll need to make sure that we plan for that. Board of Review training. The state is changing some of the rules on Board of Review training, so I believe all of you, plus Danny and I, will need to attend Board of Review training for 2022. And when that becomes available, we'll be sure to let you know. One of the things Danny and I were doing when we were becoming familiar with all the files is that we realized that some of the oaths of office were missing. So we are working on getting those up to date. But one of the things we noticed is that the cable commissioners, Tom and Joy, those haven't been up to date. We're wondering if you still want to be part of that, and if you do, then we'll have to give you the oath of office.
Yeah, I think I would like to. We need to meet. We have not met for quite some time since, who passed away again?
Who?
Neil.
Neil.
Neil, yeah.
Yeah, and Gary, you were part of that, right? I mean, you were there, I mean. So it's been a while. Has it been that long? Okay.
Gary mentioned before the meeting that that was something he would like to get going again. So if Joy and Tom are interested in continuing to serve, please see Danny or I after the meeting, and we can administer those oaths.
Will do.
And that's all I have.
What action do you need on the public records request? We need to identify some of this in the bottom?
I think yes, before we finish, I guess I just needed some guidance from the board if this was something that we can continue to work on. We will fill in what the costs, or to give people that are requesting some kind of idea of what it would cost to request records, to make a records request.
So is your intent of this, so if someone just came in and said they wanted a copy of something, could you just do that, or are you going to require this form to be filled out for every single thing?
Well, technically, all requests for public records should be in writing. So if they, depending upon what was going on in the office, if someone came in and it was very quiet and they just needed a copy of the minutes, we could probably do that very quickly for them. But if somebody needed some extensive records, that would take us some time, or if they came in at a time when we were busy, like say property tax time, we would not be able to accommodate that request
Right.
immediately.
So you're going to fill in the amounts?
Yes, yes, and then we can bring it back for approval.
Okay.
I'm fine with that. I
That's
think that
fine.
makes sense.
Yeah.
The more organized that we can be and the more
Right.
transparent that we
Right.
can be, so
I think
people
that's a good idea.
don't have
Yeah.
to say, well, what are you talking about? Well, here it is. Right here.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we'll bring it back for approval for next month.
Okay.
Okay, next item, discussion and possible action on Oakland Park Estates Homeowners Association request for road repair in their subdivision.
Yes, my name is Don Grunwald. I live at West 9165 Wilderness Place, Oakland Park Estates subdivision. I got some things I'd like to pass out to you first of all, if I may. What this is,
Is this, what-
oh,
we might have the
Yeah.
photos, I don't know what else you have there.
here. You got this. This is a copy of all the petitions, all the people in our subdivision, except for two we could not get hold of because they're gone or on vacation.
I'm going to give a copy of that to Jeff. Got an extra copy for Jeff?
You bet. Yeah, there's, like I said, there's 48 homeowners, and 46 of them signed a petition. 2 were gone on vacation. In our subdivision, every homeowner has a good, takes care of the property. And it looks very nice all the time. They keep it up. But one problem we have in our subdivision is and that's the road, 1 mile. For example, you could see on the picture, potholes throughout the subdivision. Almost 9% of the road is cracked or breaking off. Like this here, edge of the road. And throughout the subdivision, 75 to 80% of the road is discolored, you can see on the pictures. Again, edge of the road's breaking off. When I run around to get these signed, one family member said his little girl was riding a bicycle and hit a pothole and fell over. Did not get hurt though, but she fell over on the bicycle. Also, had a couple homeowners complain about in the spring, to be raking these off the lawns, like this, because the snow plows would go through. And nothing was done for 25 years on our road, except for patching and tarring. And that only lasts for a couple of years, and that's it. But we'd like to have a road redone. Good example is like you guys did at Ripon Road and Beach Road. That's all been resurfaced. Looks good. I'm just asking you, consider us putting us on the list for road improvement. Any questions at all?
Jeff?
Yeah, you are, you are on our list for
You are on
future
our 5-year
consideration.
list now.
Oh, as a when?
2 years ago.
Oh, I didn't get that list.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
we-
doesn't list your whole estate, we just used Wilderness Place as a placeholder for your
I see.
subdivision. But
Okay.
it is on, it's been on the road report in 2020 and 2021,
Mm-hmm.
and we continue to monitor that.
So what do you look for then?
Well, it's a live list.
Money.
We put together a 5-year road plan
I
every
see.
year. And of course, it's live, because some roads with a heavy traffic or a lot of traffic, things change through the winter, so that, one might get pushed back, this will get moved ahead or whatever,
see.
but that's how we've been operating here for
Yeah, we've been talking about this for about, quite a few years now.
probably 5 years.
Huh?
Probably 5 years.
Yeah, exactly
Tom
right.
Lyon.
Right on. Okay. Good, well, thank you for putting us on the list then.
Okay.
Do we have any idea the cost to repair this?
Well, it depends on what you do. I mean,
Yes.
it's
Highway, the high end, which they kind of want, is gonna be $500,000. You get everything done.
you put an overlay on everything. It's not a cheap project.
Yeah, I know, I understand that, but there's a lot of people in the subdivision that complain about it, and that's the reason why we put a petition out there. Everybody signed it and so forth.
The road looks awful.
Yes, it does.
I'd be the first to agree with that.
Mhm.
And the reason, back, how many years ago, Jeff, did we put that slurry seal on there?
That's about the same time we did Town Road.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fan.
And that just peels, the snowplow peels it off, and now you got black, and then you got gray, and
Yep.
then,
right.
so we'll have to take a look at the best short-term and long-term solution to
I
it.
hope the
That's-
short term would be nice.
Donna,
yes.
question, has Badger Land Garbage used smaller trucks?
No, they do not.
They still using the big ones?
Right.
Because we had asked them, based on an earlier comment from one of your neighbors, if we could get the smaller trucks, so we need to-
Especially in the cul-de-sacs.
Yeah, we need to
If
follow
you,
up.
if you look on the last page, what this neighbor did, Mike, he had those people in that cul-de-sac put all the garbage cans together. So it'll make it easy for the, you see
Yeah.
on the last page there? It's
Yeah.
hard. Huh.
Which on a cul-de-sac's nice to do.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Your copies are a little darker, I suppose,
Okay.
but you can see in all the garbage cans.
But he still has to get back there, and so...
Yeah, exactly right.
And you might, Susan, you might want to contact Badger again. I know Chris contacted him, but, because they do have a smaller truck,
Okay.
and
I'd like them to
we-
do that.
we'd really like that smaller truck in there,
Mhm.
especially on those cul-de-sacs. The straightaways, that's not a big
Not a
deal.
problem at all.
But the cul-de-sacs, they got to get in there, and then they're off the shoulder, and they bust off the end, and
Mhm.
there's all kinds of damage they can do.
Yeah, I appreciate if you could look at this as soon as possible. That'd be very nice. If you could do that. Okay. You got anything to talk,
Go ahead.
Scott?
Yeah, so,
Go.
thank you, Don, and again, thank you guys for putting us on the agenda today. I'm Scott Neeson, W9133 Rhodes End Court. We specifically saw the slurry. We've been in this area, my wife and I, 17 years. And when the slurry went down, it really just didn't do what I think it was intended to do, but it's good to see some maintenance going on, right? So specifically, we're thinking of a mill and overlay. We just don't think another slurry is going to take care of this situation. And furthermore, these potholes that we're talking about, the other night, nice night, several people walking, and I'm seeing cars shifting around the road as people are walking right next to them because of potholes. So we really take care of our property, and we want your help in figuring out the right way to do this. We want to move forward correctly, and we understand there are always issues in every community as far as budget, et cetera, But this is one of those communities that could be representative and could attract additional investment in this area. So, just appreciate the time, and, we're available for questions anytime, but Don is our HOA leader, and I'm just here to support him today, and I appreciate Don going to all the trouble to get the signatures. There's about 5 of us who walked around and got the various signatures, and immediately people are all unanimous. So anybody who walks in that area, you'll see the cracks that are happening now. If you were to do a mill and overlay, are relatively low cost compared to if we let it go, it's going to get worse. And you're going to be talking about a lot more work to that road if we continue to let it go. So thank you for the time, and if you have any questions, again, Don and I are available anytime.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Nancy down too. Oh, Nancy.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm Nancy Schneeberger, N4659 Old Forest Road. And I was just curious how it's typically funded. Is it all state grants, or is it, the township
It's
funding?
town tax money.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not, we do apply for every grant we can.
yeah. I
Ripley
understand.
Road is a good example, one, we got a nice grant on that one. That was $1.6 million project.
Okay,
Couldn't hardly afford to do it ourselves, so we ended up getting 50% financing or 50% grant on it. We financed the rest over a long period of time so we could afford to do it. But rarely do we get grants on just overlays and fixing up roads and that kind of thing.
yeah. I just wanted to put a plug in for the
Yeah,
amount of property tax our subdivision pays into the township. And I know ours is $1,000 a year, but we're on the probably upper end of the assessed houses in there. But I figured, $700, I know there's other expenses in the township, but $700 on the average, probably on almost 50 homes, $35,000 a year that we're paying in for property taxes. And I know Tom Lyons, I think, did an analysis on that a number of years ago, and I thought I had it, but I couldn't find it. But so I looked at our own, what we pay to the township in our tax bill, and I looked at several others, and I thought the average was about 700. But I know it's very expensive, and I just want you to keep us on your radar, I guess.
yeah, our
And-
roads, maintenance, the whole, everything we spend on roads outside of administration or whatever takes up about 60% of our budget.
Okay,
That includes snow plowing
yeah.
and all this. And I might be low on that. Susan might tell me it's 70, but I'm not exactly sure. At one point, it was about 60%. And we typically try to budget about $250,000 a year in road repair.
Okay,
If we got a big project down the road that we know we're going to have to do, we might spend half of that this year, and so we can afford to do the funding for the next one.
and our subdivision, you figured about 500,000, is that what you think?
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
that'd be a total rebuild. You can't just mill and
Yeah, right.
overlay because the base has a problem.
Right.
So we gotta get right
Okay.
down to it. So all the existing blacktop would be ground up and then become new base. And
Yeah,
then the
it-
soft spots would be discovered during that period, which there'll probably be in hell.
Be similar to what we did on Wolf.
Yep.
We ground the whole thing up, used that for
Okay,
base, and it's the best way to go, no question about it, but God, that's expensive to do.
yeah, we realize that.
But you're right, just an overlay on it, it's not gonna cut the mustard. We got a base problem in there.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay,
Keep
Well,
us
and
on your,
we do the roads
When is that?
inspection in the spring.
right.
Early spring. So that's when we put everything in order then of what we're going to do.
The 5-year road plan, so every road, according to traffic and a bunch of other factors, get ranked then.
okay. When
Right.
do you get bids on projects, or not until you think you're ready to?
Well, we estimate what the
Moving.
cost is gonna be on the top 1,
Yeah.
2, or 3 projects, or till it gets us to whatever our budget amount is, and then we put them out for bids.
Okay, okay, thank you.
One more question. You mentioned that you wait for your grants. What do you mean by that?
We apply for grants whenever they're available.
I see. Okay.
Right now, there's some federal money available that we're gonna try to rebuild Park Road and do some,
Okay.
that's the busiest road we have.
I see.
And there's some drainage issues on that road, and so it's a really expensive project, and that's when you wanna go after those bigger grants.
Okay.
A lot of times the grants are awarded if they're near the lake, or
I
there's
see.
a lot of tourism
Right.
involved and things like that, so we can apply for grants
I
and
see.
get them usually.
So when you see that pop up, you apply for it right away then?
Oh, sure, I mean, if
Yeah,
it's
it's
And just to be clear, 2022 is already scheduled for Park Road
Okay.
between Highway 18 and Highway 12 because of a major drainage problem also there. So please understand that we're
Understand,
looking at
sure.
2023 as
Okay.
being the earliest that we could
Okay.
get.
But for
Understand
this, Don, for this type of project, we never see grants available for that.
I see.
The only one that would be with that county grant, which ends up being, what, about $40,000? We get that every,
25,000.
25?
100,000 and they.
Yeah, okay. And,
Can the subdivision do anything to help to get those grants or not?
who?
Our subdivision?
Well, there wouldn't be any grant money available for that type of project.
I see.
The grant money is got to be for a connector road, an issue with the lake, that kind of stuff.
I see.
It's really specialized,
Or it has to have economic impact.
yeah. And economic impact's a big part of it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, next item, discussion and possible action on spending $600 for a Town of Oakland page in the Jefferson County Tourism Guide payable in 2022. You gonna get $600 worth of business out of that?
Well, it would be nice that you were recuperating while we had this presentation last month.
Right.
But the idea is that right now, in the Jefferson, in the little Jefferson County book, the Village of Cambridge has a half page. And their representation to us was, if you guys would get the other half page, which is 600, that would be a full spread, and we could talk about recreation and tourism and try to put that in. And, we have 2 lakes that are available for tourism, and we certainly have businesses that cater to tourism, restaurants and bars and trails, and we do have some more businesses out in the rural area that we could include in that. So there would be some opportunities, can we guarantee a rate of return for our 600? Don't know, but it's probably the one way we could make an impact with people coming in.
Yeah.
Now,
It was
whether
a good
it's-
presentation. They're revamping some of the stuff they're doing. The Lake District's going to look at it in our next meeting, so we'll probably do something also, and if there's an opportunity maybe to partner with the township, I don't know, but we're going to have something probably in ours too, so.
Yeah, I mean, we could talk about putting that together. Biggest effort for us would be then to sit down and create what we want to advertise and what we want to do. So, is it worth it? I don't know. The rest of the board kind of, it seemed like a good idea, but when you sit back and talk about the finances, I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah, she had a good presentation, I thought, and it's really maybe supporting the local community, and to the extent that we get a payback on it. I'm not sure that we will, but I think it might be a service for some of the businesses Ted mentioned and whatnot. I think it's something we should probably explore further and maybe team up with the LMD, and maybe that's one way to, if we each go halves or something. But I think it's something, I think it would be nice if we supported it, personally.
I agree. The support's going to be good. I know we're going to look at it, like I said, in our next month, and if there's an opportunity to partner, I guess I'm open to that, so.
Well, the town isn't going to directly get anything. It's for the businesses that
Right,
we do that
right,
for. I mean,
exactly,
That's
exactly.
basically what it is.
Promoting tourism, we
Right.
can promote
Right.
businesses, promote growth.
And we've
It's
got
all the indirect
Yeah.
It's all indirect.
Right.
You know,
Right.
we think about the businesses here, but we do have businesses out in the ag area
Mhm.
that probably a lot of
farmers
people
and-
don't know, so, yeah. Warm
We
Body
don't
Farms,
have to design it, though, correct?
Well, we would have to give them the information that we want included.
We'd have to give them the content,
Right.
Content.
And then they put it
Right.
but
together
they,
with.
they
We'd
would,
have to
they
write
would
the
put it
text.
together.
Right.
Okay.
So I would ask that we throw it into the budget, and as we review the budget, make the final decision when we.
At that time,
review
at
it.
budget meeting,
Yeah,
okay.
And we'll know a little more about.
yeah.
Yeah, and if you want me to
Jimmy's
bring it
good.
up in our meeting in October, we certainly can if there's an opportunity to partner, or however you want to do it.
Were you thinking of partnering on the 600, or were you going to, between Oakland and Lake Management, do a full page?
Well, we're probably going to ask for a full page to the board, probably, but if that's not looking, good, then we can split a page. I mean,
The full page is $1,200?
no, I think 600 for the full page.
Well,
Yeah, it's one side of it.
It's one side,
Yeah,
so
so it's one side,
a
like-
half of the spread, so
Right.
that's 600.
Right.
Okay.
And Cambridge spends 600 for their spot too, so.
The village already has one, and
Right.
Fort has one, and Jefferson has one.
Well,
Right.
some of
we should
those
probably-
guys have two-page spreads. We're,
And that's 1,200.
yeah.
Okay, let's put that on the agenda when we have our budget meeting.
Table till October.
Yeah. Okay, next item, discussion and possible action on setting a date for a joint meeting with the Village of Cambridge. Are they hosting? It's their turn.
They are willing to host. They just wanted, Lisa Moen, the village administrator, asked if I would give her a couple dates that would work for the Town of Oakland Board so that, she could set a meeting date.
So they're not virtual anymore, is it?
No.
No, they're not, or at least they weren't lately. Who knows what they do late, down the road, they might change that again, I don't know.
How soon do they want to meet?
They would like to meet the end of October.
Okay.
Fourth week, we don't have meetings. Do they have meetings the fourth week?
They
of the
do
month?
second and fourth.
Do they?
And I think they meet on Tuesday too, don't they?
Correct.
Yeah.
Thursday, we have fire commission meetings typically on Thursday, because that seems to work for them and everybody else on the commission.
Yeah, you've got one on the 7th of October already scheduled.
That's scheduled, yeah.
You do the 20th? It's a Wednesday?
What
Well,
about-
let's pick 3 dates.
I was going to say 2021 or 27-28. That's a Wednesday, Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Well, the fire commission meets on Thursday, though, right?
But not
Well,
every month.
We don't have a meeting scheduled then.
Okay,
Our next meeting is on the 7th.
okay.
So the dates to possibly pick, or to suggest to Lisa would be October 20th or 21st, October 27th or 28th. Okay. And then I will let you know when she lets me know.
That should work. Okay, discussion and possible action on Valley View Recreation Club noise complaints. We have had a number of complaints, calls.
There was 2 calls to Jefferson County Sheriff's Department in July for loud noise. They were asked to turn it down, and they did. And not much else was done by the county. The Sheriff's Department handled both complaints.
So 2 of them went to the sheriff's department, 3 of them went to my house. I don't know how many we got here got
And
2 in the town,
And I got,
and you got one.
So
So
is it radio music, or what is it?
DJs.
What is it?
They have their weekend parties, and they go till all hours.
Live
and
music, karaoke,
loud.
you name it.
The guys complained the most lives 3/4 of a mile away.
and they,
Is it several people complaining? I'm just curious.
Pardon me?
Is it several people?
They were The people that called the office were anonymous. I don't know who they were. They just said that they were neighbors.
Rockdale Road?
Rockdale Road,
Oh,
way out south.
we should hear.
You've
been there?
The one that called me lives close to C in Rockdale, basically,
Okay.
down that way.
It doesn't seem like we get the calls from below the hill. It's all on top of the hill and south where we're getting the calls.
That would make sense.
We
So
do-
they're having a band play and then,
Yeah, they have bands out
Till
there.
midnight. is-
Karaoke,
Yeah,
bands. I mean, the season's over now,
yeah.
but it's between Memorial Day and Labor Day. And actually, this fall seemed to be probably more,
Yeah.
because we looked up their website, and it seems to me they had something going every weekend there for,
They were busy.
yeah.
And I did talk with the county attorney, and we have granted them a conditional use permit back in 2016 that talks about the issues of noise and normal operations. And the county attorney said, with sufficient complaint, we can pull that back, or the county can pull that back. I then talked with Matt Sangle, and he said, let me know what you guys want. They could start a violation examination if we want. I was hoping somebody would be here tonight.
Yeah, we invited them to come, but nobody came. We could also, what's that?
Couldn't find the clothes.
Oh, maybe. I mean, they invited us to attend in 16 when they came in, but you can govern yourself to death. We could certainly come up with a noise ordinance, a town-wide noise ordinance, and I
Oh, boy.
really hate
We
to
do have an
think
ordinance
of
for noise in
doing that.
town.
noise ordinance?
Yeah, there is one, I forgot which number it is, I just happened to see it the other day on my desk for something else I was working on.
I would-
Because I'm thinking, the county gets 2 complaints at BSO, then members of the board receive complaints. Of course, now we're at the end of the
Season.
season. Is this something that you may want to look at and say, okay, we're kind of aware, we had these issues last year, and as the season gets here, just before Memorial Day or something, put them on notice, send them a letter saying, hey, this is what we had last year, these are when we got the complaints. You are sitting under a conditional use permit, and if this continues, we're gonna have to be forced to reevaluate that permit. Please, police yourselves, be good neighbors, because we've never really had any problems out there in the past. I've been
Just-
here 33 years, and the most time I've been out there was for a couple of trespassers years ago.
I think 4 years ago, we had some, we invited them in, and that was it. Never had another.
Yeah, I'd like to try getting a hold of them again and seeing if they can show up at a meeting before we.
Well, either that or just, we should get them a formal letter.
Yeah, send them a letter.
I
Let's make
think
a motion to
that's the
send
way
a
to
letter
do it.
from the board.
Yeah.
It's a
With the-
formal warning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Susan did
There is-
send me a
Not,
letter.
not terribly threatening, but a
Yeah.
warning, and just,
Did
Well,
you
this
if this
say
continues,
in the letter what,
It's on our radar at this point, we're aware of it, we really want to, have you in our community, your business, rah
Yeah.
business and all that kind of good
oh,
stuff.
we can put them in the
But
tourism
we
book.
do have to have standards.
right.
They are on the Travel Wisconsin website.
Yeah, okay.
I'll make that motion. I think that's a good motion. I'll make that motion that the board send a letter, with the, the number of complaints or whatever we received this year. Ask them to tone it down.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's been brought to your attention, and
I-
we're deeply concerned.
I mean, we got quite a few in the audience, and I didn't ask if anybody belongs out there or not. I mean,
Any nudists here tonight?
okay, motion's made and seconded to
Did we have a second?
forward a letter to the.
Who seconded? I made the motion. I don't know who seconded it.
I'll second it.
Oh, I thought
Would you be okay if we notified them and then invited them to a meeting?
Well, sure, but I think we should send a letter. That
Right.
way you have the
Right.
Yeah,
the
because
documentation.
I sent an email and a snail mail letter saying that that the town has received complaints and that that was going to be discussed at tonight's meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
then this will just be a follow-up letter to that.
Follow up and for certain invite them to contact us and come to a meeting.
Okay, so Jimmy made the motion, Joy seconded,
Yeah.
to send a letter to Valley View expressing our concerns about noise complaints. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Discussion and possible action on Cambridge Fire Commission budget. Budget was approved, did I give you that sheet? didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Budget was approved at our meeting last week. I didn't bring the entire budget, but the budget went up roughly 3.5%, excuse me, 4.5%. And our portion, because our equalized value went up, it ends up going up about 5.9.
Oh, boy.
So, and just for a point of, that you're aware or made aware of, Fort Atkinson, which covers about 2/3 of the geography in Oakland, has Ryan Brother Ambulance Service covering that area. And they are going to have a referendum to fund enough paramedic firefighters, and at the end of next year would then, if that referendum passes, the end of next year, Ryan Brothers would be out, and they'll bring the ambulance service right into the Fort Firehouse.
We did put a copy of the newsletter article in.
In the board packet.
in the
We didn't get a copy of the budget. Were we supposed to? Are we going to
No.
vote on the budget or something?
No,
No.
no, I'm just telling you what it is.
Okay.
We don't really have a say in that anyhow. It'll just go in our budget, right?
It'll
Right.
go in
We
the
don't-
Oakland budget for
Yeah.
October, but we don't,
We don't have a say in that.
in the fire commission budget.
Okay.
But we did get a letter in our email about the Ryan Brothers ambulance.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, and then there was a copy of the newspaper article from the Jefferson Daily Union that talks about it as well.
we have a 10-year contract with them, and I haven't had a chance to visit with Darrell, the fire chief over there. We are in our second year of a 10-year contract with them. So I don't anticipate that affecting us budget-wise. But I also don't know if there's some fine print in there somewhere that says they can do that. But I'll have to visit with Darrell to find out where we're at on that. Okay, next item is in your packet, you got a copy of the Building Review Committee, Cambridge Fire Commission Building Review Committee minutes. That was presented to us last week at our Fire Commission meeting. We will be meeting the 7th of October to discuss that whole project. Next item is discussion and possible action on inside storage and commercial lease between Lake Ripley Management and the town of Oakland. A year ago, we had given you, Lake Management, a notice that we wanted the harvester out of the cold storage, right?
We wanted to get our space.
Say again?
We wanted to get our space back.
Yeah.
We were giving them a heads up. We didn't do anything right, and just did it. They wanted blindside.
But evidently,
It's not easy finding space for that.
No, and to, recap kind of the history, you guys, brought it to the meeting. I didn't know about it. We talked about it. We agreed to search for storage to get out with the exit plan. We had a couple things in mind. Obviously, Wolf Storage was the first. That doesn't work out because he's evidently rented the whole thing to some individual instead of renting to people at large. So that's done. We are in the process and pursuing purchase of property that we would be able to build the shed on. And that offer has been put in last week, so that took 2 years to get that done. So I can't go any further because we're still in negotiations. but that is still in process, and that's what I had told the board last year when we discussed this. Since then, since Jeff has asked again about it, we had sent an email to Eugene and to the office staff and to Jeff with a proposal or an offer to remove 2 of the large pieces for this winter and leave the harvester in the storage, because that's our most valuable piece of equipment for this one winter, and then next winter, hopefully we can have our own place to store the stuff. Those are what we came up so far. We still need a place to store 2 pieces of equipment. Hopefully it can still be on the property here, outside. And I don't know if there's any options to build onto the building that's currently there. We were certainly would entertain possibly that option if that's available to add on, and the district would pay for that. So there's several things that could happen, but we just do not have a place for our harvester at this moment, unfortunately. And we really don't want to leave it outside.
What kind of bind does that put you in, Jeff?
Leaving a harvester in there to make it work, it'd be tight. I'll have to do some juggling around, because I wanted to get some product in this fall. So I wouldn't have to, so in the spring I'd have it instead of having to wait.
So Jimmy, what would you guys remove that's stored in there?
The big, well, we've offered to remove the big dump truck and the conveyor, which is 2 huge pieces of equipment. We
And
just,
we could park that along these pine trees out of, a little ways away from the area, if you're okay with that.
yeah, we just need a place to put them. I mean, we're kind of stuck. We tried for a year to find somewhere to put this stuff.
Did you check with the guy that owns the building?
Yeah, I did. I called him.
It's fall, isn't it?
He was all over the place. First of all, he liked the idea, then he must have talked to his family, because they have a bunch of collector tractors evidently up
Yeah.
there, and he didn't have a place to put those, and that was the end of that.
Could you rent a pod for your product? You know those 20-foot pods they have, 8 by 8 by 20?
Can I get in there in my tractor with the lifts?
I don't know. Wolf has them down there. I see Joe's got one across the street from me. I'm not sure what he's got in there. Don't know if you could drive in there with the forklift or not.
Probably not, because tractors are pretty tall.
Yeah,
I doubt it, yeah.
Yeah.
probably
Well,
not.
and how much would you have enough room to really lift and move it?
Great.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, thinking out loud is all.
So we do have an exit plan. It's just not as quick as we thought it would be. And again, we have some stuff in play right now, so we just don't have anything this winter for the harvester. So we appreciate your consideration of at least keeping the harvester in the shed until we can exit.
Jimmy, you got a new garage?
Yeah.
You
I need another permit, Ted.
You didn't build that
Conditional
bigger.
use.
You should have built that bigger.
Yeah,
you know, that's the problem with these guys, they don't plan ahead.
yeah,
Just think of the rent you could have got up.
yeah. Is there any discussion
Might
about
be a
a
little
future?
conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
Yeah, a future expansion of the current building? Is there any discussion on that, or could there be? I mean, I guess that's something long-term too, but it seems like we're running out of room.
That's a whole different discussion for another day.
Yeah, I just thought I'd bring it
Yeah.
up. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
it's a thought.
It's a thought.
That area is kind of full with collected debris.
Well, to add on to the east side would take a significant amount of excavation, because we're up against that hill now. So if you were to put a cold storage out there, full length of that building, I mean, you'd have to take a pretty good chunk of dirt out of there before you could do it.
Yeah.
But like you say, that's a discussion for another day. We're trying to figure out how to fix roads yet.
Right.
Materials are so expensive.
No, I get it. No, I appreciate your consideration, because like I said, that's our most valuable piece of equipment, and it does a lot of great for the lake. We just can't keep it outside. I don't know what to do.
Why, we can get that in there.
What's that?
We can get that in
The,
there, work around that.
okay.
Okay.
Well, then I'd entertain a motion.
Motion to continue working on getting but for this year, allow the harvester to stay in and take out some of the other equipment.
For the winter.
Can you make that sound smart, Susan? Thank you.
I'll second.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Jim said-
Okay, motion's made and seconded to allow Lake Management to leave their harvester in our cold storage facility in the back of the building. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you, guys, I appreciate it. We're all in this together.
Discussion and possible action on operator's license for J.C. Sewell. No problems there, the way it looks?
No.
So,
Move approval of the operator's license for J.C. Sewell.
do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve the operator's license for J.C. Sewell. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Correspondence, you got the court dockets and the Fire Commission Building Committee minutes.
Just a note, if anybody's curious, I have diagrams and drawings of what was described in the minutes that were sent to you. If anybody's wanting to look at a diagram of those, I have those with me tonight. Because they were not part of the minutes. So if you're curious, I can show that to you.
Okay, approval of disbursements.
I'll make a motion that we approve the disbursements beginning with what I assume is electronic funds transfer for a check order, through and including electronics fund transfer 816-02057 in the aggregate amount of $106,625.24.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to approve disbursements in the amount of $106,625.24. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next meeting date, October 19th. I don't think we're going to have a special budget meeting, but if we do, we'd probably have it before that, or would you have it after that?
As of 5 o'clock today, we have not received any requests for the planning committee, so it is possible that if we needed a special budget meeting, it
We
could
could
be
do it.
that first Tuesday in October.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll cross that bridge when we get